makes it worthwhile. Every time you have a hospital registering and someone telling you we have an appointment, it makes it worthwhile. But as a company, success is when I have every small clinic, every small pharmacy, deep village, accessing digital health access to anyone, even those that cannot afford a mobile phone. I would love to have a system that connects the whole health system in Africa in one place. And I'm very sure in the next 5 years, we're going to be having the most interactive health forum. We're going to be having the most visited site.
Asimwe says she learned the hard way about starting small.
The hardest decision I made is to fire my 7 salespeople. The next day I came back to office and I was all alone. It came back to the same way I'd started. When I fired them, I didn't want it, but I had to because I couldn't pay them anymore. It was the hardest. Actually, I was even thinking of taking a loan so that I can keep them on the team, but one great man said a company can never be run on a loan. I had to move at least like the next month, 3-4 months, until the landlord had to lock me out of my own office, where I spent almost 10,000 to brand. So now I'm working on the streets. So I have to meet these people in hotels. It has actually made me stronger. I've never been more passionate about this business like it is after they have locked me out. Actually, like, this lady does not know what she's doing when she was closing me out. I was like, I'm going to be the most important person in the next 3 years. And I may even buy this building one day. I know it is not easy, but vision never dies.
It's time to take another quick break. So do you know of any startup business on the continent that we should be keeping our eyes on? If so, let us know on Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. The number is right there on your screen. Our handle online is @VOA Our Voices. Use the hashtag VOA Our Voices so we can find your comments. After the break, we'll take a look at how coronavirus pandemic is impacting entrepreneurs. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Our Voices. The ongoing coronavirus pandemic is changing all of our lives. Here's how the virus has impacted some of the entrepreneurs in our Startup Africa series.
Man, it has hit us hard. COVID has put everyone in a very difficult situation.
Never experienced anything remotely so cataclysmic.
Transport tech startups have been affected negatively.
I'll say the biggest thing that is frightening is the uncertainty. There's a huge level of uncertainty. We are seeing how people are responding. We don't know when we see the next wave.
The economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic is still unclear. And that uncertainty is bad for capital markets.
The business is, since the lockdown, it's been lower than, it's been on survival mode.
People are fearing health facilities because they think they might actually be at risk of getting COVID-19.
and there are obviously uncertain times, but they've brought our company closer and our team closer together and forced us to really focus on what is important.
It's very important for you to have your own courage to say, yes, I'll make it no matter what. And even when I fall down, I'll raise up and walk and move ahead.
While most companies are losing business during the pandemic, analyst Ruth Musoke-Benzika says tech flexibility gives it a greater adaptability.
For me, I think that COVID has actually created a lot of opportunities for people in the tech sector. You can see that people are now more open to online meetings. Instead of coming to meet, people are able to go online and meet. People are more accepting to technology before, at whatever ages. You are now seeing more people who are able to say, okay, instead of going to a market, I would rather go online on an app and I'm able to order what I want.
The co-founder of Nigeria's Helium Health, Tito Ovia, says coronavirus is having an uneven impact across Africa startups.
We've seen from the healthcare tech industry like I'm in, there have been many innovations, many telemedicine solutions, contact tracing solutions that have come up to be able to help and fight the pandemic. However, fintech companies have actually suffered, during this point in time, as a lot of them make their money through, businesses and processing their payments and aviation. Agritech as well might have also suffered in the time because, again, can they really now be able to reach the farmers that they need to? So it really depends on what tech industry you're in. Healthcare, honestly, I would say is booming, but we might find that definitely others have been suffering.
For Ines Maina, the economic impact of COVID-19 is reducing demand for insurance through her Bismarck startup.
The year had started very well until when the lockdown was announced. We actually had to close our office to cut on costs so that we can keep the business on survival mode. And insurance is luxury. We saw a decline in number of people who are buying new policies. So basically we were maintaining the old customers and some of them had to downgrade just to cut on the cost. However, it should be the other way because people need to protect themselves against the risks that face them. But that was not the case.
Ruth Musoke-Benzika says innovators prosper by aligning startup strategies with changing market conditions.
For innovators, this is your time. Use COVID to innovate. Come up with solutions. If you have a very good solution, I am sure you will always find a funder. Importantly, keep your integrity. Once you have integrity and you have a good innovation, the sky is the limit.
That's our show for today. Thanks to our Startup Africa co-production partners, Channels TV in Nigeria, City TV in Ghana, KTN in Kenya, NBS in Uganda, and RTV in Rwanda. Look for the whole Startup Africa series on the station broadcasting VOA programs, including this station, or visit our website, voanews.com. Thanks for watching Our Voices. I'm Orion Itangishaka.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
He suffered equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect them. If you no talk, they go beat you. Now 2,500 they pay.
We
can't talk about education reform if we don't decolonize our education system.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize. Because it's just cultural. And I think it's just human nature.
They stop paying us salary. I don't like remembering it.
I am angry at Nigeria. I'm angry at this government which seems to be letting us down. I am angry at us as a people.
In the process of struggling to free myself from his hand, he tore my pants and he raped me.
Yes, I commit offense truly.
Young girl, do you know where you are going? I say, I'm going to America. I say, now so that they talk, you are going to Libya. Which America?
As it then do mark our place, some people they die now.
This is Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
Thanks for joining us on Plus News Brief. I am Annetta Felix. Former Governor of Ogun State, Gbenga Daniel, has dumped the People's Democratic Party, PDP, for the All Progressives Congress, APC. Daniel was also the campaign manager for PDP's former presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar. He announced his defection on Tuesday. According to him, the APC national chairman encouraged him to join them because of his support for Governor Dapo Abiodun. President Muhammadu Buhari has asked the Senate to confirm Abdulrasheed Bawa as substantive chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. In a letter to the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, the President said he was acting in accordance with provisions of the EFCC Act 2004. The statement described Bawa as a trained EFCC investigator with vast experience in the investigation and prosecution of advanced fee fraud cases, official corruption, bank fraud, money laundering, and other economic crimes. Bawa is 40 years old. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in economics and a master's in international affairs and diplomacy. The acting EFCC chairman, Ibrahim Magu, was suspended in July 2020 amidst allegations of gross misconduct. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has declared that Nigerians have the right to live in peace and safety. Osinbajo said this while condemning the crisis in the Shasha area of Ibadan, Oyo State. Osinbajo urged Nigerians to desist from giving ethnic colorations to disputes between people simply because they hail from different ethnic groups. The Vice President added that every Nigerian has a constitutional right to live, work, and enjoy their lives in safety and peace under the law. Meanwhile, Governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, and 4 northern governors have paid a visit to Shasha Market in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, on Tuesday, February 16th, 2021. The governors include Abdullahi Ganduje of Kano State, Abubakar Bagudu of Kebbi State, Bello Metawali of Zamfara State, and Abubakar Sani of Niger State. They were accompanied by security agents as they toured the market to assess the level of damage done during the clash between Yoruba and Hausa communities last week. The delegation also visited traditional rulers and appealed to both sides to stop the hostilities and forge a more formidable bond for peaceful coexistence. The Nigeria Police Force has flagged off the second phase of one of its special tactical operations codenamed Operation Puff Adder 2. Addressing journalists during the flag-off ceremony in Abuja, the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, explained that the development is expected to tackle crimes including armed robbery, banditry, kidnapping, among other crimes within the northwest and north-central zones of the country, but will subsequently cover the entire nation. He, however, tasked the officers being deployed to see their posting as a call to service and express the highest level of professionalism while on duty.
Our objective is to focus on the restoration of security and peace in the Northwest and North Central geopolitical zones. The operation is to dislodge the bandits and deny them space to regroup either in the zones or any other part of the country. It also involves bringing to justice any arrested bandits and their collaborators. Operation Pomada 2 will be implemented within the framework of our community policing initiative, and it will be intelligence-led operations. I charge you all to see your deployment as a call to national duty.
Minister of Police Affairs Mohammed Dingyadi on Tuesday said minimum force was used on Occupy Lekki protesters last Saturday. Speaking to newsmen, he said the policemen deployed at the toll gate were well kitted, maintained professionalism in restraining protesters, and comported themselves as they should. He noted that they were fully equipped, well uniformed, and were ready for the EndSARS protesters, and that was why they were able to contain the situation. Many civil rights organizations, including Amnesty International and the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, have however condemned the inhumane act levied against the protesters. They were later arraigned before a mobile court and released on bail. The governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has condemned the alleged brutality against people who protested at the Lekki toll gate on Saturday, February 13, 2021. Sanwo-Olu has now directed the state's Commissioner of Police, Hakeem Odumosu, to open an investigation into the incident. Meanwhile, the managing director of the Lekki Concession Company, Yomi Omomowason, spoke on the alleged use of the firm's operational vehicle to convey protesters at the toll gate. His explanation is that the LCC donated the vehicle to the police to assist them as a logistical support. The National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is presently studying 4 vaccines from Russia, India, and China. Speaking on Plus TV Africa's The Breakfast Program, NAFDAC Director General Mojisola Adeyeye assured that the agency will have a result on the evaluation by next week.
Recently, WHO contacted NAFDAC, actually last week, that we can now have access to the doses of the vaccines that they're going to be distributing worldwide. Nigeria will be receiving the first batch by the end of February or March, early, middle March. So we don't know when it will get in first, the exact date, but the exact date will depend on when we do the approval also, when we give the approval. But in terms of the man on the street, Primary Health has stated that the healthcare workers will be given first, and then people with underlying conditions or older people will be given second. So it's going to be in stages. So the person on the street may wait longer unless that person is a healthcare worker or somebody with underlying conditions. The first approval will take place within the next 1 week.
In other parts of Africa, Algeria is marking the 1-year anniversary of its massive popular uprising with more street protests. Protesters are demanding a fundamental change in the political climate of the country. Hundreds of protesters gathered around the capital, Algiers, chanting and waving large flags in Kerata's Freedom Square, where the country's 2019 movement first began. Following protests in Kerata, nationwide protests broke out on February 22, 2019, to reject President Abdelaziz Bouteflika's plan to seek a 5th term in office and demand the prosecution of people involved in corruption as well as political reforms. Bouteflika resigned in April 2019, but protests were still held every week, demanding the removal of the regime and the downfall of his old guard. Protests came to a halt in 2020 when the government banned street marches due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Outside Africa, dozens of Spanish police stormed a university on Tuesday, February 16th, and arrested a rapper who had barricaded himself inside. Pablo Hasél and a group of his supporters had taken refuge the previous day in the university after he was sentenced to jail on charges of glorifying terrorism and insulting royalty in his lyrics. He had until last Friday, February 12th, to hand himself over to the police to serve a 9-month sentence. He was convicted in 2018 over lyrics and tweets that included references to banned guerrilla groups, compared the courts to Nazis, and called former King Juan Carlos a mafia boss. In business, the National Bureau of Statistics on Tuesday revealed that inflation in Nigeria has increased by 16.47% in January 2021. This is the highest rate since April 2017. The report also shows that food prices and food inflation also rose to 20.57% in January, while core inflation, which excludes the price of volatile agricultural produce, stood at 11.85%. The NBS added that the upward movement in food inflation was caused by increases in the prices of bread, cereals, potatoes, yam and other tubers, meats, fruits, oils and fats, vegetables and fish. On a year-on-year basis, food inflation was highest in Kogi State at 26.64%, Oyo State 23.69%, and River State 23.49%, while states with the slowest inflation rise include Ondo, Abuja and Bauchi. In entertainment news, British actress Simone Ashley has been selected as the female lead opposite Jonathan Bailey in season 2 of the drama series Bridgerton. Bridgerton is now the most watched series on Netflix. And newly arrived in London, Kate is a smart, headstrong young woman who suffers no fools. Anthony in Bridgerton very much included. And in sports, the Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello has sacked the management of Kogi United FC and Confluence Queens FC. Secretary to the state government for Lashade Ayoade announced this on Tuesday without stating reasons for the move. Sports enthusiasts in Kogi, however, say the dissolution might not be unconnected to recent protests by the players of the two clubs over non-payment of their salaries and allowances, as well as poor welfare. The Kogi United Football Club currently plays at the Nigeria National League level, while Confluence Queens are playing at the Female Premier League. Serena Williams has reacted to reaching the 40th Grand Slam semi-final on Tuesday. She overpowered second seed Simona Halep to book an Australian Open last fall showdown with Naomi Osaka. The 7-time champion beat the Romanian 6-3, 6-3 at the Rod Laver Arena. She describes the game as the best match she has played in the tournament.
Yeah, I definitely think this is the best match I've played this tournament for sure. And obviously I had to, going up against, number 2 in the world. So I knew that I had to, do better. And, that's what I did. And so I'm excited.
That's the news at this hour. For more news and updates, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And please do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. We'll be back later with more stories making the headlines. I am Annetta Felix. Thanks for watching.
Even if INEC opens their portal today for continuous registration, we'll rather complain than go to register.
If we go and know, are we going to change Africa? Because what did they do to make our lives better since then?
Stories will inspire you.
Inspire us to be like who? Like our Lord.
Inspire you to know that once upon a time, some people also struggled.
They don't even consider it
that it's important to make the place conducive for people living with disabilities.
More accessible.
Because Nigeria has actually gone too far the other way to come back to look after the disabled.
Somebody rigs the election and then he's, fraudulently sworn in. He goes for Thanksgiving. The rest of us will join, Your Excellency.
Yeah.
But the day he's removed, we say he was corrupt.
Don't forget the political angle.
You mean brown envelope will stop?
No, brown envelope will, I don't want to say will not stop, but I've done hand like this, Sha. But quickly.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
Na 500 naira they collect am.
If you no talk, dem go beat you.
Na 2,500 they pay.
Traffic signs are important indicators that direct and inform commuters and motorists of dangers ahead. The National Bureau of Statistics has shown that there are about 11.8 million licensed cars on Nigeria's roads as at fourth quarter of 2018, compared to 11.6 million in the preceding year 2017. With an estimated population of 198 million, Nigeria's vehicle per population ratio is 0.06. Road traffic signs serve several purposes. Some are placed on the roads to point out directions to motorists. Some are placed to ensure the safety of motorists and pedestrians. How much of these signs are known to Nigerians?
That shows that the road is free for somebody to walk. That the traffic light is indicating where, and it's time for you to walk across the traffic. Issued in case need be.
Majorly, it's meant for why children are meant to cross the road. So there's need for every vehicle that was passing by at that particular moment to stop by for them.
Facing me is don't turn left. Because if it was like this, I would say don't turn right. So it's if you see the sign showing like this, it's don't turn left.
It's a sign putting it on restricted areas where it is not necessary for such a vehicle to enter, especially a vehicle that has lowered a height. It's not to enter in such a place.
Road signs are typically represented as symbols or annotations. Every motorist, and in some cases, pedestrians, are expected to have an understanding of what these signs represent. It is crucial for authorities in charge to produce road signs with symbols together with their meanings spelled out.
We need signs. Every country, every city needs traffic signs, otherwise there will be chaos on the roads. Drivers would not be informed. Nobody would know who has a right or who does not have a right. What can you do? What can you not do? Are you going to warn me about an impediment in front of me or not? So signs are critical. It's not about anyone taking advantage. It's about us utilizing it for our own safety benefit. In a city like Lagos or any large city, there are more pedestrians on the road, more than vehicles. And pedestrians are more vulnerable than vehicular movement because a vehicle is a matter that is enclosed, and so the occupant of a vehicle feels safer. Whereas a pedestrian is vulnerable because it's only their body structure, so on impact of anything, there will be serious injury. Any new road being constructed in Lagos must have a requisite walkway. Zebra crossing, typically in Nigeria, some drivers, when you tell them like, oh, why have you not allowed the pedestrian to cross at the zebra crossing? And the driver will turn back and say, well, I can't see no zebra. You must, as a motorist, you must stop and give priority to the pedestrian to cross. That's the purpose of zebra crossings.
Inappropriate parking on the road is another disturbing habit. Where can drivers park on the road in case of necessity?
Typically speaking, when you go and apply for a driver's license, you are foremost trained to say to you that where you park is very important because it borders on safety and it borders on obstruction of other road users. And so the first job of any driver or a motorist is that wherever you've parked, you must ask yourself the question, is it safe? Is it obstructive? Do I have any traffic signs that bans me from parking at this spot? If you're able to answer all those questions in the affirmative, then you're good to go. And it's not just that. You have to also ask, can where I have chosen to park, can it be perceived by enforcement agency to be obstructive or just not an appropriate place to park? I.e., it is not appropriate to park on an express road that even has 3 lanes, even for 1 second. Because why? From a safety point of view, vehicles on an express will be on a higher speed. If you park there and you obstruct, you're forcing them to change lanes. Now, forcing someone to change lanes on an express on high speed is very dangerous. More than likely, it will lead to a crash. So you can't park there. If you go to a market and you do not go into an off-street parking space or go and find a side street that is not obstructive to parking, and you now say, oh, because other people are parking there, I just want to park for 1 minute. 1 minute is more than enough for an accident to happen. 1 minute is more than enough for obstruction to other traffic flow to occur. So your 1 minute to you may be small, but for the country, for the state, for agency like ours, 1 minute at an inappropriate place is obstructive. And then that vehicle, if we have a tow vehicle, we will tow it.
What are the transportation agencies in Nigeria doing to educate citizens and motorists?
With a program like yours, it's all part of the education links that we have, that we use. Federal Road Safety Corps, LAMATA, LASMA, any agency that has anything to do with safety on the roads, with transportation, would always look for an avenue to educate the citizenry. There's a purpose for the road. Your purpose is to move from point A to B, not to abuse other road users. Don't take advantage of vulnerable road users like children and the elderly and pedestrians. Don't say because you're inside your car that you just have rights to do whatever you want.
Obey the road signs and remember not to drive under any influence. Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria with 351,861 hectares of land, is the authentic home of every tribe and tongue in Nigeria. The state, though small in landmass, is controversially the most populous state in the country. One of the neighborhoods in the state is Obalende, located in Etiosa local government area. The area is strategically a historic site because before the relocation of administrative capital from Lagos to Abuja, it was the seat of power of the military head of state, the Dodon Barrack. Historically, a Royal West African Frontier Force, predominantly Hausa men, were initially camped on the land where the famous King's College is situated. Then there was a need for the use of the land, and the Oba of Lagos was said to have pressured the governor of Lagos to resettle the Hausa men and sold the land in what is now Obalende to the British colonial masters. After resettlement in the purchased land, the Royal West Africa Frontier Force men named the place Ibiti Obalewade, which translates to the place where the king drove us to. Obalende, though crowded, is famous for its nightlife and for its suya sport, with a junction popularly called Suya Junction. For ease of administration, former governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, created additional 37 local council development areas from the existing 20 local council areas. So the current Obalende is carved out under Ikoyi Obalende Local Council Development Area. Ikorodu town is another historic location in Lagos, located in the northeast area of the state along the Lagos Lagoon and shares a boundary with Ogun State. Currently, the town houses Ikorodu local government area and 5 local council development areas. Kabiru Shotobi is the king of Ikorodu, traditionally known as Ayogbunre of Ikorodu, who ascended the throne from October 24, 2015. The name Ikorodu came about from people whose ancestors descended from the Remo stock of Yoruba tribe who came to settle on a plateau and named it Ikorodu, a shortened word from Oko Odu, which literally means Odu, farm. The current metro area population of Ikorodu in 2021 is 989,000, a 5.44% increase from 2020. Trading, farming, and manufacturing are some of the things Ikorodu is known for. Ikeja is the capital of Lagos State, formerly called Akeja. It was named after a deity of the Awori people of Ota, who originally settled there. The area was invaded for slaves until the mid-19th century. Ikeja, an abbreviation meaning of Ikorodu and Ekpe joint administration, was coined by colonial administrators for ease of administration. It is the official seat of the governor of the state, where the state secretariat is also located. It is also where the domestic and international airports are located. Its population as of 2006 census is 330,196. Ikeja is home to one of West Africa's largest gadget markets, popularly known as Computer Village, and home to a shopping mall known as Ikeja City Mall, which is the biggest mall in Lagos mainland and also has a cinema. These are some interesting places that make Lagos a world-class destination.
Contrary to popular belief, Corona is not a hoax. The virus is real. Be responsible. Wear a mask. Wash your hands with soap and water and avoid crowded places. Maintain physical distancing. Be responsible. Together, we can overcome the pandemic.
say entrepreneurship is like faith. You know, faith is substance of things hoped for, an evidence of things not seen.
I honestly think I have what it takes to be successful. Not only being successful, but I believe that I have what it takes to build a very strong company, a brand that survives even when I've left.
Because my kids lives in Canada, they ask, what do you do in Africa? So they think Africa is, Lion King, it's a jungle. So they were amazed to say, what do you do in Africa, Dad? So I say computer. I say, no, computer with the lions?
So entrepreneurship is that you create these things in your mind, you can't touch them. They're just ideas in your mind, and you hope and believe that they'll become things.
Startup, for me, I understand, it's where you want to start up a business. You come up with a plan, an idea, maybe where you want to have your business and what you want to do.
So startup is like when you are starting your business or an idea that you have and you want to put it in practical way.
Startup is a businesses that are just being invented, or someone has just found an interest in a particular product and they want to introduce it into the market.
The quality of a good startup, one, is maybe you have an idea. You cannot just start up a business without an idea.
Definitely you have to address a particular need. You have identified your market and you've seen a niche, so you have to bring into your startup to fill that gap.
The startup phase is when you have dreamt of an idea to be able to solve a certain solution in the community. You bootstrap the process, and then you get to the point where you have a viable product or viable service that you're showing to people. Could be the first 3 to 4 years of your work, right, where people don't know you yet. But once you're making an impact in the lives of people, you're solving a specific problem. That, for me, it's just the beginning as a startup, right? And then, of course, you go to the point where you've done this for several years. You're seemingly successful, and therefore people are asking for your service, or you're bringing in new products.
Yeah, I'm good.
3, 2, 1, go.
Now let me be serious. My name is Ronald Hakiza, and I am a co-founder at yugabus.com. I am 27 years of age, of course making 28 very soon, and I come from Kisoro. I'm single, I'm not yet married. I work at Yugabus, and Yugabus is an online bus ticketing company. So we offer travelers or anyone who is traveling by bus a web and mobile application to book any bus to travel anywhere across East Africa.
My name is Eunice Mainamburu, the CEO and founder of BSmart Insurance. BSmart is an online integrated insurance platform that enables customers to choose the right insurance for themselves. This is through comparing from multiple insurance companies.
My name is Chimenye Mabre, and I'm CEO of Algorithm. And we produce software, and which called Ishiga software. We are in an information era where when you know, you are more rich than someone who doesn't know. We produce software, and which called Ishiga software. Ishiga was created 10 years ago. Starting in Canada, I was working in a night shop where they was using a software. Then I was impressed how they do their reports easily, how my bosses, my managers can see everything without even being there. The problem pharmacists was facing before we came in is the administrative work, let's call it like that. In a pharmacy, they have to manage insurances prices. We have like 18 insurances. Everyone is dropping his prices. They have drugs. Drugs, they expire. They are not like other goods. And when it expired, you can't give to someone. Every pharmacy was isolated, every warehouses. So there was no way these people can see their data in one master data. So we created Ishiga Live, which was taking all this data. So all this headache, we try to resolve them inside our software, putting them in the cloud. So if you are anywhere, you can come and view your data. You can make one giant supermarket because you are inside, but to make a chain of pharmacies or supermarket, you need software to manage all the data, to know everything everywhere, every time, so you can control the finance, the stock, the inventory. So we are working with hotels and bars. So waiters use this tablet, and they can order in front of you. They can order your goods, what you want. Then it goes directly in the kitchen. Then they can start preparing it, or drinks. There is a mentality. So this is a challenge which we will be facing soon. It's the mentality of African business or governments, where they don't trust like African solutions, especially in software. Challenges faced was two. One was to find skilled people, and the second was to find big contract which can sustain our company. We trained 20 to 40 students from undergraduate. We give them the way how to code in industry. So from there we take 5 top. So this fixed the problem of skills. How I'm different is when I started the company, I used to do things myself. Now everything is not connected to me. The business has to run without me. Nothing is magic here. Everyone who arrives somewhere is working day and night. You sleep when you have to sleep. To do it outside funding, it's a family like spirit. You do with what you have. So you try using, like even Steve Jobs or Mark Zuckerberg, all started in garage. So all you need is really to find this garage and try to do this small stuff.
For money to come in, we had to allocate ourselves responsibilities. I was in charge of marketing. My colleague was in charge of growth and managing developers. So when we allocated each other responsibilities, then we moved to finding the resources to make sure this company works. Because when we are just starting, there's no profit being made. You get it? And then that is when someone walks up to me, and who could be my aunt, and says, you know what, I will support with some startup. You get it? Some little money. And then from there, everything else starts falling into place when the business has taken shape. You get it? Yeah. By taking shape, I mean when you can wake up one morning and be sure that at least even if I am not there, someone traveling to Nairobi, to Kisoro, to Kigali, to Juba will be able to still get served.
I would have started more leaner.
Lean startup means is that you are looking at your processes, right? And you are trying to cut off some things that you think are not really needed at the moment. Do you get it? So for example, if you look at your financial model, what you think you could spend on that particular product, select a particular target market, look at actually what you actually need to be able to bring that product and then build upon as time goes on. You want to learn faster, you want to pivot faster than anybody. So it's, and that relates to failure. You have to fail sometimes, do you get it? Because as you are trying to learn, you want to fail and see how it works, whether it works or it doesn't work. So when you fail with that, it tells you that, okay, this didn't work. You try the next one, you pivot. And then that is what lean startup means.
So we advise young people, startups, start lean, start small, but know